That's my dream. Exploring the potential crossover between Chicago Fire and Law and Order, SVU. Jocelyn Houdon's enthusiasm for a Chicago Fire and Law and Order, SVU crossover has sparked excitement among fans of both franchises. While crossovers within Dick Wolf's One Chicago and Law and Order universes are nothing new, a meeting between Lizzie Novak and Olivia Benson would be a groundbreaking moment, bridging two of Wolf's most beloved series in a fresh and compelling way. Why a Chicago Fire and SVU crossover makes sense. Though Chicago Fire and Law and Order, SVU operate in different cities, Chicago and New York, respectively, their shared DNA under Wolf Entertainment means the logistical hurdles aren't insurmountable. Cross-network crossovers have happened before. Chicago PD and SVU have intersected multiple times, most notably in the 2014 episode Chicago Crossover, which saw Benson and Voight collaborating on a human trafficking case. Houdon's vision for Novak and Benson to cross paths could follow a similar framework. Given Novak's role as a paramedic, a storyline involving a high-stakes medical emergency or a case with victims spread across state lines could naturally bring Benson to Chicago or send Novak to New York. Another possibility, a serial arsonist with a history of sexual violence, forcing Firehouse 51 and SVU to work together to stop a predator who exploits both fire and fear. How Olivia Benson could enter Firehouse 51's world. Mariska Hargitay's Olivia Benson is one of television's most iconic characters, and her no-nonsense yet deeply empathetic approach to justice would mesh well with the first responders of Chicago Fire. One compelling angle could involve Benson traveling to Chicago to consult on a case that initially appears to be an accident, but soon reveals darker undertones. Imagine this. A devastating apartment fire claims multiple lives, but during the investigation, Novak and her team discover evidence suggesting the fire was deliberately set to cover up a murder. When the victims include a key witness in an ongoing SVU case, Benson arrives to assist, clashing with Chicago's authorities, but finding an unexpected ally in Novak, whose medical expertise and sharp instincts prove invaluable. Alternatively, the crossover could take a more personal turn. Perhaps Novak has a past connection to New York. Maybe she trained there or has family ties. And when a crisis hits close to home, she reaches out to SVU for help. This would not only deepen Novak's backstory, something Houdon has expressed interest in exploring, but also allow for emotional, character-driven moments between her and Benson, fan reactions, and industry possibilities. The idea of a Chicago Fire and SVU crossover has already generated buzz online, with fans speculating about how the two shows' tones would blend. Chicago Fire thrives on high-octane rescue missions and firehouse camaraderie, while SVU delves into the psychological and procedural aspects of criminal investigations. A successful crossover would need to balance both, much like past One Chicago and Law and Order crossovers have done. From a production standpoint, scheduling would be the biggest challenge. SVU films in New York, while Chicago Fire shoots in the Windy City, meaning Hargitay and Houdon would either need to share scenes via creative location work or through a storyline that justifies one character traveling. However, given Dick Wolf's history of ambitious crossovers, it's not impossible. What this could mean for future crossovers. If a Chicago Fire and SVU crossover were to happen, it could open the door for even more unexpected cross-franchise collaborations. Could we see FBI agents working a case that leads them to Chicago PD? Or a Law and Order, organized crime arc that spills into Meds ER? The potential is endless. For now, Houdon's dream remains just that, a dream. But in the ever-evolving landscape of Dick Wolf's TV empire, nothing is off the table. With Chicago Fire Season 14 promising major shakeups, and SVU continuing to reinvent itself in its historic 26th season, the stars might just align for this epic crossover sooner than we think. That's my dream. Exploring the potential crossover between Chicago Fire and Law and Order, SVU. Jocelyn Houghton's enthusiasm for a Chicago Fire and Law and Order, SVU crossover has sparked excitement among fans of both franchises. While crossovers within Dick Wolf's One Chicago and Law and Order universes are nothing new, a meeting between Lizzie Novak and Olivia Benson would be a groundbreaking moment, bridging two of Wolf's most beloved series in a fresh and compelling way.